Hey, Louise here. I hope you're ready to get scrappy. I have some charm squares. Look at these beautiful colors and greens and teals and lavender, some purple. These are going to be gorgeous. So, I have a bunch of them out already started. I couldn't wait for you. Sorry, I had to jump in and get started last night. And so I'm using charm squares, but I'm going to use scraps. So I'm getting all my scrap strips out that I have, and some leftover fabrics that I can cut and use in the quilt as well, because I have some ideas about what I want to do with this. First, we're going to start with a charm. We'll put some pieces around it. We'll give it a bit of a border, and then we're going to lay it out. Do you recognize what this looks like? Oh my goodness, do you see it? This is one of the first disappearing 9-patch quilts you probably ever saw. Traditional pattern, and I love doing it this way with the strips. You can easily also make this with a 9-patch with all charm squares, but I wanted to go scrappy. I wanted to get lots of different fabrics in here, and this worked better for me. And I'm going to show you some easy ways that will make this go quickly. So let's go ahead and get started. Charm squares, one of the easiest things is to find some white fabric and either cut yourself a 42 charm squares or buy a white charm pack, and then you can alternate your blocks, and that's a very common way to make a charm square quilt. But I have a bit more in mind than that. Another option is to take a color that is sort of a light accent that you could use in the background, and this would work really well with everything. But again, this isn't scrappy. It'd be beautiful, and if you're looking for a baby quilt and finding either some pink or blue as your background, even the green, it would be gorgeous. So we're going scrappy. The first thing I'm going to do is cut my 2.5-inch strips, and I need to cut them at 5 inches. Now these are some leftover jelly rolls from another quilt, so I've had these tucked away, and these are going to work perfect with all those pretty purple and lavenders. And I think I have about 6 or 8 layers here, so I'm going to use my big cutter, and I'm just going to cut through this for all that I need. I need 2 per charm square. We're working with 42 charms, which means I'm going to need, 42 would be 84. So I'm going to cut through all these. Then the other thing I need are my 2.5-inch pieces. Now you can also cross-cut your strips as well and just cut it at 2.5 inch. In my case, I just took a charm square and cut it both directions. And so I have these pieces here, and you can see what I did is I just took this, and this, and I cut them crosswise up and down, and now I have my 4. And so that goes right there, and this goes right here, and then the other one will go right there. And that's essentially all we have to do. And even better is we are going to strip piece everything. So I have my 2.5 by 5, I have my 2.5 square, and I am just going to sew these all the way through and chain piece them from one end to the other. Then when I come back, I'm going to cut these, and I'm going to press these so it goes towards the darker fabric. It really doesn't matter which way you go. I'm doing it that way because this is a very light background, and I don't want those darker seams, the darker fabric, to show through on the other side. So this is the step 1, so to speak. I want to get 42 of these ready. Then I'm going to take the extra 2.5-inch strips that I have and sew 1 to each of the charm squares. So I need a total of 42. This pack only came with 40, so I cut out some extra. And I'm going to take 1 charm square, cut it in half, and then that gives me the 2 strips that I need. So you can see how easy this is. You can either use the precuts, you can use your scraps, you can use strips. Everything is going to work on this. Even your fat quarters, cut 2.5-inch strips or 5-inch strips, and then cross-cut them into the sizes that you need. So let me go ahead and get some of this pulled together and show you how quick and easy this particular quilt is going to be. I have a few more strips that I need to sew together with the extra little cornerstone. What I wanted to show you, though, is I was coming up short with pieces that I needed. So I went ahead and I joined up some scraps from the end of the pieces. I've got another here, this one here. I did the same thing. And I just, did a little 1/4 inch seam and I pressed it open, and you really don't even see it. So this is just working out perfectly. So I'm going to put these together. Just move these over here, make some room, and get my needle in place. So I'm going to just chain stitch through each of these. And this is the last group that I need to sew up. And here we go. So I'll put this one in and do the next one. And these are batiks, so I don't have to worry about front and back, which makes it nice. No right side or wrong side. Okay, and do this one. And you see, as always, chain stitching just saves so much time and so much thread. Okay, there we go. Get this one. And this is my last one. Okay. Now I'm not going to cut this apart yet because now I have this group I need to do. Oh, here's another one. Look at this. So see, I ran out of a little bit. And this was actually a strip that I had pre-sewn, like for a binding. And you know how you do the diagonal seam? So I use just about everything I can find. And I'm going to put this right here, and I'll sew this one. And make sure I'm nesting my seams. And just continue like that. Let me get a different color here. I don't want this one to be all blue. So we'll get some wild purple. Fuchsia, what color do you think this is? I don't know. Maybe it's a plum? Not quite. But it is pretty. And make sure we're nested. And that's all we do. So we just keep sewing and sewing until it's all finished. And then we put our blocks together. And I'll show you that part too. With all 42 of my blocks, what I did was pair them up. In order to reduce too much repetition next to each other, I put my pile in two, and I put purples and greens. And basically that's where the two color groups kind of broke down, the greens, the teals, the purples, the blues. And in doing that, every pair that I put together has a different combination, but we have purple, green, purple, green. So these two won't be the same when they join up. Now you'll also notice I did the cornerstones in opposite corners. This eliminated any too many matching seams. So I did this on just about all of them. I left a few apart, so if I needed to make an adjustment at the end, I could. So here's one set here, just like this, and then here's a second set. So I have 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm going to put these last 2 right here on the end for my 5 and 6, and then I'm all set. So I'm going to put all these rows together. I'll chain stitch everything and get my top together, and then I'm going to press it and show you. I think this looks beautiful. I love these colors. They worked really well together. Look at all these fabulous colors together. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. It's bright and it's bold and there's lots of contrast. lights and darks. And don't you love those little white squares? They just add a nice fanciful touch to it all, and brightens the quilt up and breaks up some of that really bold, dark color throughout the quilt. I think it's a wonderful balance, and I hope you enjoyed this. Now, don't forget to download the free pattern that's in the description below the video. Just go down there and find free PDF pattern and download that for a really simple charm square quilt that I think you'll enjoy. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had fun and are ready to make your own quilt. Thanks so much for being here. It's always such a pleasure to share my quilts with you. Thanks again. Have a great day.